First scrum here for St. John's. We'll see what the relative strengths are at the set piece. Obviously the bedrock of any rugby game, primary source of possession, and something you have to hang your hat on. You have to secure your own possession and have a go at the opposition's.
Jack Riley with the put in. Some great camera work from our crack next level rugby crew. Number 14, Ray Harron, scoots outside. Trying to go short side. Corralled by Andrew Mooney. Crossover football player. There's a big hit by number 6, Connor Lanner. But St. John's maintains possession, drives forward. There's number 12, Nathan Cobb. There's a little dipsy-do. And a pass gone backward into the hands of Logan Spitzer. And a little kick into the open space. Tracking it down, Matthew Grundig. Oh, a nice little fake, and he's got some wheels. Into the hands of his scrum half, Spencer Swensrud. Collapsed bodies falling down as the ball squirts out to Jeremy Seau. Some pushing, some shoving, some tugging, and the ball. Smashing forward. I think we're playing an advantage, Steve. Or maybe not. And a whistle. Yes, it was a penalty. High tackle, I believe, was the call.
So, opting for touch. Fullback, who's had an impressive start to the game. Punches it down. Reasonable kick. As you can see, the assistant referee's flag there. A flutter. Bit of a wind now, picking up.
Yeah, that's Matthew Grundig, who's had a busy first couple of minutes of this match at fullback.
Yeah, a couple of assured touches, a couple of good passes, good steps. He looks the part, could be a threat all night long.
Here's the throw-in. Michael Porter. Taken, though, by number 5, Noah Hines-Marquette of St. John. St. John's University out of Minnesota. Claremont, California consortium of colleges, as Steve pointed out. And they are trying to get control of the ball that has been uncooperative so far. But here's a nice big burst by Claremont up the field. A great run so far. Number 13, Matt Sill, and he's lucky that his team maintained possession. Filling in at scrum half, setting the platform. There is number 15, but the ball is spun out. And it's stolen, pilched by number 6, Max Ditzier. And he is rambling forward. Holding on to the ball for dear life and bringing it to turf finally. Almost ripped out of his hands, but he held on. Here's big number 5, Noah Hines-Marquette. Kyle Salverda. And a penalty awarded to St. John's, Steve.
Yeah, indeed, a little scrappy there. Got some big units on that St. John's side. They weren't particularly accurate with the passing of their distribution there, but they've got the penalty. They can regroup, take a couple of deep breaths, think about what they want to do. What they should do is move this ball up the field, kick to touch. Interesting style there from the kicker, but makes touch.
And a drop ball by the fan in the stands, and that's just unacceptable. You have to catch that ball.
In this day and age, at this level, unacceptable from that fan.
Unacceptable. We're going to ask for the immediate removal of the man in the red cap. Just kidding. In the meantime, our line out. There's the throw-in by Paul Franta. And it looks like it's been turned over, and it has. Spencer Swensrud. Barreling forward. It's like Brian Wall. Swensrud Matt Sill gets it out to his fullback, Matthew Grindling, who's crashed into touch. And here's going to be a line out.
So both lineouts so far are stolen by the opposition. What we talked about with set pieces, you got to be sure of your own possession. That hasn't happened thus far. Now we've got a scrum. St. John's put in, and they had a little bit of trouble. They went backwards their first time. Let's see if Claremont start to show some early dominance, particularly on this tight head side, is what it looked like to me.
So my mistake. I thought it was into touch, but it was actually a knock on and awarded scrum down to the red and white and blue of St. John's. Founded in 1967. Celebrated its 50th year in 2017 as the ball comes out. A little no-look pass. Nicely done by Dylan Parsons. But the ball skips away. Cleaning it up is Eric Clark Jr. But it's another whistle. Referee's coming in with some calming words. And it's going to be a scrum down to St. John's.
Yeah, got a wee bit lucky there. That could have been a penalty for them. The ball gets kicked into his own player here. That's offside. Once again, inadvertent, but nevertheless an infraction.
All right, as we await the put in.
Scrum number 3. And I do believe Claremont are going to exert some dominance here. Put it before on this tight end side. Yep, there it is. There it is. Spotted it.
But they win it. Jack Riley spins it out.
You're absolutely right.
Wyatt Kokesh into the hands. And then it's number 13, Dylan Parsons. There's Riley. Puts the boot to it. Into touch. Is that coming directly back, Stephen?
It is indeed. Straight into touch there. Outside the 22. Unforced error. Gives the ball to Claremont in a reasonable attacking position. And that's kind of play you just don't need to put pressure on yourself. You know, you expect the opposition to be doing it all game long.
Do you think he knew where the young man knew? Mr. Riley knew where he was on the field. Only Mr. Riley knows that. Yeah,
indeed. There's a good shot there. The weather conditions changing somewhat, getting colder. Rain coming in.
Oh, pilched nicely, but there's a whistle, and we might be going back. Yeah, we dodged a bullet with the rain earlier. If you caught our earlier broadcast, we were talking about the monsoon-type rain in the Albany region as we were prepping for the match. Then we had perfect conditions for our match earlier. Now we've got a little bit of rain coming down. We'll see if it passes us, but it's field turf. It's not going to get sloppy, so that's the positive. Here's the put in. Spencer Swensrud, and a whistle.
Say that 3 times fast.
That 3 times fast.
Very good.
Next question. Next question is, will this scrum be blown up as they come together, as per the referee's instruction? And taken nicely out of the back of the scrum by Chance Sears. And presented for his team. Having a go of it. Like Frankie Reyes. And a whistle and a penalty awarded to Claremont. St. John's quickly retreating, Stephen. And we might have a conversation here. Is this going to be about a card, perhaps? Talking to one of the co-captains of St. John's, and this is Kyle Salverda, who's a large man. No card. But they're going for posts. We haven't seen this tonight.
There we go. Finally. Kickers earning the pay, except there's no pay. This is collegiate rugby. Metaphorical allusion there. But, yeah, it's confident. This is an easy kick. You know, what are we? Probably 25 or so out, but certainly halfway towards that left-hand touch line. Wind has been a factor. Looks like he's kicking into the wind. Difficult to see from our perch here in the commentary box.
Yeah, the wind doesn't seem to be gusting the way it was in our previous match, but we do have some wetness now. And the kick is up, and the kick is no good, no flags. So we'll stay at 7-zip. The shot of Connor Lerner. And we are going to have a re-kick.
Yeah, seems to be some words exchanged there with one of the St. John's players. Maybe there was something said. Or maybe there was some movement forward. It's not a conversion. And that allows the Claremont fullback to have another crack at it.
Indeed. Kick is up, and the kick is, this time, deja vu all over again. The kick is no good, this time on the inside of the posts. Or on the left side of the post, I should say. But we have still a 7-0 score. Here's the 22 drop. Here's number 15, the co-captain, Nick Kazmerchek. And Claremont with possession and driving. There's a big rumbling run by Brian Wall. Dug out of the back of the scrum by Spencer Swensrud. He's got his other prop, Frankie Reyes, charging forward with the shaved head. Now it's into the hands of the back line. Big run from Matt Sill earlier. He now takes it to turf. And it's a whistle and a penalty. And he's going to the pocket. Oh, that's a tough blow. That's going to be a yellow card for, it looks to Jack O'Brien, the loose head prop. No, I beg your pardon. That's going to be Jack Riley. Andrew Mooney, the number 8. We'll get it right. I apologize, folks. Andrew Mooney, the football player, going to the bin.
Yeah, it did. It probably was an accumulation there. I think he had a word with the skipper before. Good choice here. Let's have a quick look at it. He's just not attempting to roll away. I think that's what Mr. Burpo got him for. Anyway, good decision here from Claremont. This is interesting. They've opted from a scrum. They know they're dominant in the scrum. Congregates players together defensively on the field. They want to have a look what they got outside.
Fake switch
there
and a big burst there. Sills up the middle and right under the posts.
That's a good finish. And their faith in their backs, their faith in their scrum, and their back line was rewarded.
Matt Sill with the try. Steve, I'm not sure that I agree with that penalty, that sin bin, that yellow card. But here's the try. There's a little fake inside, and Sill finds the seam and splits it right under the posts. Beautiful read and run.
Yeah, good finish by him. Back to the penalty. Certainly one offense wouldn't warrant, one offense of that nature wouldn't warrant a yellow card in and of itself. But as I said before, Mr. Burpo's already talked 3 or 4 times with the St. John's players. So perhaps he's a little frustrated. Accumulation of infractions has persuaded him to use your favorite phrase and show him the fromage. Show him the cheese.
Show him the cheese. All right, but the conversion is, no, yes, it was good. So we have 14-0. Claremont, and smiles from Mr. Matt Sill, who just scored that try. There's the restart, taken nicely.
So yeah, first quarter of the game going. Claremont into a good early lead. 2 converted scores, 14-zip.
There's number 4. Sam Ness keeping possession for his team, and there's a little bit of a kick. Not shy about kicking so far, and it's not handled well by number 11, Eric Clark Jr. And a messy follow-up and the ball into touch. So maybe they're testing the backs of St. John's early, Claremont. But it's going to be a knock-on, and the ball awarded to St. John's, who are down a man. They've got their number 8 in the sin bin. If you're just joining us, Matt McCarthy, Steve Lewis, and Brett Anker in this next level rugby production of the NSCRO, National Small College Rugby Organization Championships here at Siena College outside Albany, Hickey Field to be exact. And it is now 14-0 in favor of Claremont out of California over St. John's in Minnesota.
This is the second semifinal. Obviously, earlier on this evening, Christendom beating Endicott.
That's right. That was a impressive performance by Christendom. The Crusaders, all of 200 male students in their school, and apparently all of them play rugby.
So a tie against them, awaiting the winners of this contest. With 60 minutes left to go. Far from decided.
Here's the put in from Spencer Swensrud. A little sloppy. Again, St. John's down a man. They're number 8. Andrew Mooney in the bin.
So they were having a wee bit of trouble even when they were full complement. So it's not unsurprising.
Okay, there's some confusion. Nice over the shoulder shot. As it looks like we have a substitution, Steve. Number 16.
Coming into the front there, row there at Loosehead.
Tristan Cavanis.
Will that make a difference?
And another whistle. And he's talking to the newcomer. Again, that's Tristan Cavanis. That's a great shot. Oh, it looks like they're just really taking advantage of that scrum. And out in the back line, bursting forward. There's number 11, who with a great strong run, Mac Sickinger. Takes it to turf. Swensrud. And again, Claremont aggressively on attack. There's the newcomer, Tristan Cavanis, getting right into the action. There's Sill, who scored a try right up the gut earlier. Gets it back to Swensrud. Smashing forward into that pack was number 7, Dominic Oden for St. John's, but to no avail as the ball is maintained and pushed forward by Frankie Reyes.
Yeah, being a bit more direct here. Some pick and goes, trying to go up through the guts, getting a little bit of success with it. 4-5, 2-3 yards, 2-3 yards, all adds up. Also concentrates the defense, keeps them honest. Now the ball goes wide.
Oh, good tackle. Perhaps saving a try. Tipped, but into the hands of number 11, who's taken into touch. Good defensive play on the outside by the St. John's winger. And it's going to be a line out to St. John's. There's that rain above Old Glory. Here's Sill. There's Sickinger.
Yeah, he worked hard there. Kept the legs going after the contact. Got some reward for it. And then here we go again with a line out. He's been quite fastidious. Is Joe Burpo. Well-regarded referee. I have it on good authority. He is on the radar. He's having a confident match so far.
All right, here's our line out, taken nicely by Dominic Oden for St. John's. Down a man, trying to get something going. They're down 14-0 as the ball skips into the hands and the very capable hands of number 15, Matthew Grundling. Here's big number 1, Brian Wall. Almost losing possession, but Asante holds on to it. Abraham Asante.
So he's back on then at Loosehead.
Looks that way.
Must have been a blood sub or something of that nature.
There's Sill with some quick feet. And it could be a forward pass, but he gets the ball back. Let's see what the call is. It's going to be a knock on or and awarded to St. John's, Steve.
Yes, indeed. I'd say the most significant personal battle thus far is being won by the Claremont tight head, Frankie Reyes. He's exerted pressure every single scrum. He's split the opposition front row. Claremont would be well served going back to the well there. I think they'll get quite a bit of profit out of that if they keep going at it. So let's have a look one more time. Keep your eye on this bind of the St. John's Loosehead here. Going to be a long night at the coalface for him.
But they just lost possession. That was not the great put in. And up the gut is the number 8, Chance Sears. And a whistle. And it's a penalty to St. John's. And a quick tap. And a no-look pass. Very nicely done. That was Jack Riley getting things going. Here he is again. Oh, a no-look pass after a big hit by the fly half, Wyatt Kokesh. And his team maintains possession. St. John's down 14-0, down a man, looking for some positives. Here's the co-captain in the front row, Salverda. He's a big man. They're taking their passes flat-footed, and that's not helping them right now, St. John's. They've got to get steep, and they've got to make those passes crisper. And there's a whistle, but they've earned a penalty again. Not releasing. Asante.
So a couple of these penalties are by Claremont, are allowing St. John's to get back in this game. A little bit of confidence, a little bit of possession. It's a very distinctive kicking style there. And a series of...
that was Logan Spitzer, number 4, the lock.
A couple of Keystone Cop knock-ons there.
Yeah, they've got. I was talking to the head coach, and they have. I was talking to Dan Franklin, and we were talking to Tammy Cowan. They've got different kicking responsibilities, like between 3 different players right now. All right, here's our scrum down. Another great shot. As the pack sets for another scrum down engagement. Riley putting it in, but it's taken again. Up. It's going to be a whistle. And it's going to be a scrum down to St. John's. St. John's surviving here.
Yes, indeed. They've come back from a little rocky spell there when things looked a bit ominous. They've scrummaged a little better the last couple of times. As I said before, set piece gives you a foothold in the game, allows you to do other things.
Oh, and the ball skips out into Riley. Riley gets it over to Wyatt Kokesh, the nursing student. He gets it to his back line. That was number 12, Nathan Cobb. And suddenly, showing some life, but it might have been turned over, but no. Held on. Here's Odin. Slippery. Gets the ball back to his team. Tough pass. On a high hit. Smashed into the mouth of Kazmirchek. And a penalty earned. Kazmirchek, the former hockey player, charging forward. He's not going to shy away from a quick high check to the chin. That is a hockey player that found rugby and was Garrett Bender's protege. But Claremont turns the ball over, roars downfield. And there's Reyes. And he's got some space. Look at the big fella rumble.
He's absolutely convinced he wasn't going to have to run 80 yards there. Held up, looked for some more contact, looked for his buddies.
He kind of tripped over Wyatt Kokesh, but here's some of his buddies with the ball. There's number 8, Chance Sears on the outside with the scrum cap. He gets it over. And it's back into the hands of Spencer Swensrud. Bodies flying. Odin smashes in for St. John's. But Claremont counterattacks. And a knock on. And again, seems like every time the momentum is swinging Claremont's way right now, St. John's gets a break. They need to take advantage of it, Steve.
Yes, indeed. It's moist. Ball is perhaps getting a little moist out there, a little slippery.
There's the steal by Claremont. And a big run by number 4, Sam Ness. And here comes Reyes, just rumbling. And Wyatt Kokesh gets in his way just enough to slow the big fella down.
Better scrum from St. John's. Works it to the blind side. We're getting some joy. Recycle scrum half. Now what we're going to do?
We're going to take it into touch. Not what you wanted to do after a nice series of runs in this last couple of minutes by number 12, Nathan Cobb. And we're going to do that again.
Yeah, I mean, it should always be a visual trigger, when you get out towards the touchline. If you see that 5-yard line, you're stuck in that channel. Unless you're skinning someone on the outside, you need to work back in. You need a strong carry back inside, set the ruck. Getting pushed in touch is a turnover, just as good as, any breakdown.
I'm just wondering if the lines are confusing for some of these players in the blink of an eye. But in the meantime, there's some sloppy play. Who wants the ball? It's going to be Sears. He collects it. There's Sill. Corralled by number 14, Ethan Takayama, who scored the first try of this match. Red, white, and blue of St. John's fighting in defense. Ball is maintained by the navy and white of Claremont. Ball spun out by Max Sickinger. Asante takes it to turf. Swensrud. Asante. Smashes into number 8, Andrew Mooney, who is back from the sin bin. There's a big run from Brian Wall. Barrels forward. The loose head prop. Asante, the open side flanker, rambling forward. Taken to the turf by Dominic Odin. One of 2 Odins on the roster. Nice tackle by Max Ditzier. Sill can't handle the pass, but Sear, the 8-man, is there to handle it. Chance Sears all over the pitch so far wearing that scrum cap. But here's his scrum-capped compadre in the red, white, and blue, Odin. Gets into the hands of Logan Spitzer. There's a skip pass handled by number 10, Kokesh. He's handled things under pressure so far very well for the red, white, and blue of St. John's. There's number 2, Paul Franta, who plays guitar in a band, believe it or not, and lucky to maintain possession. Down on the pitch after a big hit is a St. John's player, and it is physical in there. There's Asante knocking back Jack Riley, and it's getting a little bit rough, and there's a whistle. And number 13, Dylan Parsons, seems to be okay. He was shaken up, but he's on his feet. That's a good sign, Steve. Here's Jack Sears in open field. And then you see the turnover right there. Here's Odin roaring forward. And now I think we're going to see the big hit here. Yeah, there it is, Asante.
Yeah, his teammate did him no favors there, tossing that ball up in the air. Perfect target for a back row player. Set of ribs like that.
Call that the hospital pass.
That's what it used to be called.
We don't call it that anymore?
Don't see it that much anymore.
Touche, my friend, touche. Because we have fine coaches like you out there. In the meantime, Spencer Swensrud gets it to the hands of a bursting Matthew Grundling. Fighting forward for more. Andrew Segre. Swensrud. Jack Sears again, the 8-man on the outside, putting pressure on the outside backs of St. John's. Here's number 6, the blind side, Connor Linner, and he's got some open room. He is rumbling. Back on defense was number 15, Kazmerchek. Asante, and there's a whistle. Likely a knock-on. Another bullet dodged. Turnover goes to St. John's. Here you see the big run by the blind side, Steve, Connor Lanner.
Yeah, you know, before the game, Brett Anker was talking with Jeremy Ognall, Claremont coach. He said, you know, what are your strengths? And he mentioned the back row. And certainly this combination of Lanner, Asante, and Sears, there have been some good carries, some good tackles. They're starting to assert their dominance in the back row. They actually had a terrific player last year, Connor Peterson. I believe he's a torn ACL. He was a very, very useful player last year and looked to move up the grades. Sorry not to see him around at the moment.
All right, here's a counter, but a kick into the air. And it does not. Yes, it does find touch. So a little exit play on the part of St. John's. Still just down 14-0. And perhaps eking their way back into this match.
Absolutely. I mean, you felt their first 5-10 minutes. Claremont went up pretty early. They had some outstanding individual plays still at center. We talked about the back row. Fullback looks a bit of a danger man as well, Grundling. But since then, St. John's, they've staunched the flow in terms of their scrummage woes. They've sort of fought back in. They've got into the game. And the deficit is only 14.
And they survived that yellow card to their number 8, Andrew Mooney. And here's a whistle against them, though, as Claremont earns a penalty.
This is exactly what they don't need, is to concede another score here in this last 3-4 minutes before the half.
Yeah, there's some chat about what they're going to do, the strategy here with number 10, Jeremy Seau, who's going to kick. Looks like it's going to fall in the hands of
Grundling, fullback.
And he does the job, gets it into touch. Michael Porter getting ready to throw it in. It goes short with the throw, and it wasn't straight, and it's going to be awarded.
Yeah, a little lack of accuracy there. That's unfortunate. You get in these attacking positions. Again, set piece. Needs to click.
Yeah, so that's a big break. Well done by St. John's. Again, you know, you just pointed out you don't want to see them give up a try this late in the half in their own end. And let's see if they can do something with this new opportunity. Jack Riley surveying the big fellas coming together. Taps, puts it in.
Got a scrum.
And a ball received on the charge. We haven't seen that much tonight.
Correct.
And it's going to be another whistle and a penalty earned. So now St. John's with an opportunity to kick the ball into Claremont territory, get it back, maybe get a score before the half ends. And here's number 5, Noah Hines Marquette. He won the fan contest to kick for them, and he doesn't find touch. Oh, but it's knocked on. A big break for St. John's. Where's the whistle? There it is. And Spencer Swensrud is not going to be happy with himself for that one.
Yep, poor kick, poor catch. Must do better.
Must do better. Write that down. That's a two-time USA Rugby Coach of the Year telling you that, folks. And Collegiate All-American Sevens coach, Steve Lewis. So when he says you must do better, you must do better. There's a whistle not coming together right. Riley practicing his own quick tap. So looks like the rain has actually subsided. So we got lucky again with that. We'll take it. It's supposed to rain on us all night tonight, and it hasn't. Driving back in a messy scrum, but maintained by St. John's. That's Andrew Mooney. And another whistle.
Yeah,
and it's going to be a penalty, Steve.
Yeah, good work by Mooney there, retreating scrum. It's not what a number 8 or a scrum half wants, but he tied it up nicely. Good, strong carry, and was rewarded. Penalties. You say St. John's inching up the field here. If they can just go another 20, 30 yards, eke out a penalty or perhaps a score, but missed touch again. Missed touch again.
You know, I don't know how many times you're going to let Heinz Marquette miss touch, but it looks like that might do it for the half, and it has. You know, and that's a big missed opportunity for St. John's on a simple execution of a fundamental play.
Indeed.
But it's easy from up here, isn't it?
Easy from the sideline.
All right. All right, folks, do not go away. We are back with another half of NSCRO Championship Rugby right after this.
It's a great day to be a Saint. Got our paws on some sophisticated technology. Practiced a little saint-like behavior. We came and went the distance toward discovery. Preparing to join the ranks of the saints before us. We're a school with heart, in pursuit of greater inspiration that connects us forever.
In our game, we play with our hearts. We don't play with sticks, bats, or gloves. We don't wear shoulder pads or helmets. We keep playing when it hurts. And we leave everything on the field. What we wear must be built for our game.
Hey, rugby fans, rugby is everywhere. The giant is awakening, and Rugby Wrap-Up is there with the alarm clock. Rugby Wrap-Up, global rugby coverage, sometimes with a wink. Weekly studio shows, daily website content, breaking news, evolving stories, the biggest names in the game on camera, all over social media. Pundits from all corners of the planet, local, global, professional, amateur, female, and male. Find it all on rugbywrapup.com. Hey, everybody, welcome back to Hickey Field at the Siena College University campus. Here outside Albany, the capital region in New York State, for NSCRO, National Small College Rugby Organization Championships. Matt McCarthy, Steve Lewis, and Brett Anker in this Next Level Rugby production. Steve, we have a 14-0 halftime score between Claremont out of California, the consortium of colleges, and St. John's out of Minnesota. I beg your pardon. What do you think is going to happen in the second half?
Well, what we saw, we saw perhaps a good start by Claremont, right? Some early threats, individual threats, and we've seen St. John's claw them way back into the game. St. John's haven't really exerted any pressure. They haven't spent a lot of time in Claremont's 22. I mean, it's pretty much been dominated both possession and territory by the Californians. But again, 14 points, not insurmountable. This is there for the taking. They get a good early score, get into this game. We have a contest. The prize being Christendom Crusaders on Sunday afternoon.
Yes, indeed. It'll be interesting to see who is going to face the Crusaders, because they have some firepower in that squad. But you can see some of these plays from earlier. There's Sill. He is a pretty dynamic back. But again, you know, it looked as though Claremont might run them out of the building.
Yeah, early on. I mean, I think this, you know, for St. John's, what we've seen in particular, Ditzler, I quite like the look of him. Number 6, he's put in some tackles. He's had a good work rate, carried the ball well. For Claremont, I talked before, I think the tight head props had a good game in the set. Fullback looks the danger man. Also still at center. So there's good individual talent here. Neither team has really clicked from a sort of unit or team perspective. But all to play for 14-0 at the half.
Indeed. And we are fast approaching that half. And we don't have any rain. We do have some wind. It is field turf, so we're not playing in a puddle or mud like we would have if we had been on grass. So for the proponents of field turf, you guys get to brag, because it would have been a disaster if we were playing on a grass pitch right now after the rains that we had this afternoon in this part of the country. But none of that's a factor. You've got clean play and the ability for these athletes to show their abilities. And we are about to see that as we prepare for the second half. If you're just joining us, in the red and blue stripes and white shorts are St. John's out of Minnesota. And in the blue and white, the navy blue and white, Claremont from California. Steve, our referee?
Our referee, Joe Burpo. What about him?
How's he doing so far?
Yeah, good first half. It's interesting. We've done quite a few games recently when the referee is mic'd, so you hear absolutely everything. So it's just watching. You have to watch hand signals, watch his demeanor. But he's had a good first 40. No major drama. 1 yellow card for it would appear repeated offences. But good first half from him.
He seems to have a calming carriage about him.
Carriage, demeanor, way, fashion.
Yeah, I think you win.
You can open Roger's thesaurus here and come out with a few more.
Sure, or a lexicon. But there's the restart. And it's taken by Claremont. Racing forward. Sill takes it to the turf. There's number 4, Sam Ness. He's driving forward. Still going. Then he rolls to the turf. Took a lot of people to get him down. Right out into the open, number 10. Jeremy Seau, and he bursts forward. He's got some room to ramble, and he might have the posts, and he does. A great effort and try by the fly half. Jeremy Seau just out of the shed.
There you go. Bit of individual flair. Terrific score by that young man. And just what the doctor ordered for Scott Bracken and Jeremy Ognall. Not so much for their counterparts at St. John's.
Yeah, Dan Franklin and Tammy Cowan are not going to be happy about that. They didn't want to see their team go down that quickly by this much of a margin right out of the chute in the second half. But Seau, you can see him here. He does all of it He had the defend, he had the moves, and he had the ability to dot it down and finish. There's some of our fans looking on as Matt Grundling lines up the conversion. And he drills it, and a lot faster with his approach than Mr. Duig earlier.
Indeed.
For Christensen.
No bother at all for the Claremont fullback there, extending the lead now to 21 points. 21-0 Claremont over St. John's.
Claremont in the navy blue and white. And St. John's out of Minnesota in the red, white, and blue. We are about 42 minutes into this NSCRO championship match. We've got a full weekend coming forward for you on the NSCRO YouTube channel or the Next Level Rugby YouTube channel as number 4 Sam Ness bursts forward. Scrambling back on defense. Number 8 Andrew Mooney trying to settle things a bit, and there's a ball to the air. Racing back under it. Oh, and there's a knock. So getting lucky with that and trying to play the advantage there was Jack Riley. But he's coming back with it. There's Riley, his kick. Here comes the knock, and there's the knock. Oh.
So he would have been relieved to see that because it wasn't a great kick. You know, it's hopeful along the ground. Claremont player perhaps should have trapped it with his foot rather than trying to play it.
I believe that was Connor Lerner. Here's Riley with the put in. There's a whistle. So at this point, both front rows should know the cadence of the referee. They should be familiar with what he wants and doesn't want. So perhaps we'll be a little bit less, he'll be a little bit less patient and maybe throw a card out. There's the tap and the put in. On the burst. Here comes St. John's. And we have a substitution. We have number 21 in, Keegan Odell, I beg your pardon. He's in the back line for St. John's. Here's a nice run forward. That was Mooney. Oh, driven back by number 8, Chance Sears. He's had a nice match so far tonight, and there's a knock on. And it's going to be a scrum down to Claremont, Steve.
Yes, indeed. A little scrappy.
Wyatt Kokesh fixing his ponytail.
Mm-hmm. No comment.
He's got to fix those knock-ons first. Here's number 9, Jack Riley. Putting it in. Jack's a senior. And here's Sears. He gets it back out to Riley. I beg your pardon. He gets it out to Spencer Swensrud. Here's Reyes. Rumbling, tumbling, stumbling to the turf. Swensrud finds a hard-charging Jeremy Sia, who just scored a try. Now he gets it to Sam Ness. Sam Ness barrels into a couple of St. John's defenders. Asante looking for the try line. Swensrud quarterbacking some more. There's the big number 1, Brian Wall, banging through the wall of defense of St. John's. It's a pass out wide, but wisely bringing it back in is number 15, Matthew Grundling. Platform set. Swensrud looking to the outside. There's number 14, Takayama, who scored a try earlier. Scored our first try of the match. 21-0. in favor of the blue and white. Claremont looking for another try, and they get it. Great second effort by Zach Heffernan.
Zac Efron. He's playing, is he?
Zach Efron is not playing, but Zach Heffernan is, and he just scored a great try. The number 5 lock with a second effort. Here it is, Steve. Here's Swensrud. Here he goes. Up, over, rolls, and in. That's smelling the try line right there.
Yeah, it's a good phase play by Claremont there. They were quite patient. They went left, went right, multiple phases. Only minor criticism I might have from Swensrud. I mean, he made the right decisions, but he could be a wee bit faster moving the ball. That's when you up the tempo, and that's when you put the defenses under pressure and the gaps appear. But they went 8 phases, they scored a try. Who am I to critique?
Well, you just did, so I would say that you're a 2-time USA Rugby Coach of the Year and Collegiate All-American Sevens coach, as the kick is right through the upright, Steve. 30-0.
28, I believe.
28-0. Beg your pardon. My abacus is off.
Yep, 28-0. And that lead has now become comfortable here in the first 5-10 minutes of the second half.
Yeah, it was 14-0 at halftime, and just bang, 2 tries out of the gate for Claremont. Whatever their coaching staff said to that team in the dressing room was something that we ought to write down. In the meantime, here's the restart. This has been...
I have an opinion on that, actually.
All right.
I believe coaches get too much credit when things go well, and they get too much blame when it goes wrong.
All right, we'll let the fans at home decide. Folks, you can dial in on Next Level Rugby, whether you agree with Steve in that poll. In the meantime, there's a whistle and a penalty awarded to St. John's. Here's a quick tap by Odin. And a pass to Riley. Riley dances, squirms, gets to the turf. Here's Valverde. Salverde, I beg your pardon. And there's Odin. His motor keeps running.
Yeah, for a slight frame, he actually gets some yards.
He's got that lanky, lithe kind of power there.
So bounces left, bounces right, seems to...
Oh, but it's pilched by Reyes.
Pilched.
Very Pocock-esque. Getting that ball. In the meantime, there's number 4, Sam Ness, rambling into his fellow number 4, Logan Spitzer.
Yeah, good carry, good ball presentation. Makes it nice and easy for his scrum half. They go to the boot.
And not wanting any part of that. It looked like it was Clark Jr., but he's got the ball back in his hands, looking for some help. Finally, the reserves arrive, and there's number 20. That looks like David Floater is in for St. John's. And there's a whistle. Asante not happy with the call. It's going to be a penalty awarded to St. John's, not releasing on Asante. And I think that's his second time that he's been pinged for that, Steve.
Yes, indeed.
Maybe he's just living on the edge a little bit.
Good flanker should.
Exactly. Kick does not find touch. That's not surprising so far from what we've seen earlier from St. John's, and they need to address that as Swensrud gets the ball into the hands of his big number 1, Brian Wall, who's had some rambling runs tonight. There's Sill, who has a try, a nice try earlier in the first half. Here's Andrew Segre, gets tugged to the ground by number 21, Keegan Odell. Swensrud finds Connor Lenner on a burst. Reyes gets it back into the hands of Wall.
It's better rugby here from Claremont. This is good stuff.
Yeah, they're definitely getting into a rhythm. There's number 5.
Taking care of the ball. It's all about accuracy at the breakdown, ball presentation. And they're just as we say it, they don't do it. Commentators curse
It's
again.
The curse of Steve. That's the lizard curse, ladies and gentlemen. As Salverde, instrumental in that turnover. And there's a kick but it's turned over in possession. I'm not crazy about that, Steve. There's Grundlig counterattacking, giving to Asante. He takes it to the ground. Swensrud spins it. And bursting forward is Sears. Chance, I beg your pardon, that was Michael Porter. Segre finds Chance Sears now. That's the number 8. He's had a big night, and he looks like he's going to find pay dirt. And there's the try. Great effort by the number 8 Sears, Steve.
Yes, sir. He's hanging out there in the left wing. Got an opportunity, took it, bounced the defender, showed some decent pace, got some separation under the post.
Chance Sears had the chance to get the score of the try, and he did.
Did indeed.
Look at that. There's the replay. He just rumbles over Kaczmarczyk for the try. Look at that. He's an impressive athlete. You know, that's the beauty of these kinds of tournaments is you get the exposure for some of these guys that might not get it otherwise. The beauty of NSCRO.
Well, absolutely. I mean, it's a competition for small colleges, right? So it's colleges with, under 5,000 student body. But in all these places, there are diamonds in the rough. There are good players, good individual players, and these championship weekends are an opportunity for them to shine and be seen by a wider audience. And we've certainly seen quite a few capable individuals on all 4 sides this evening. And look forward to seeing more of them as the weekend progresses.
And there's Grundling with the conversion. He's got an interesting approach to the ball. It's no nonsense, and it's kind of a long approach.
Whatever works.
Oh, the restart taken nicely by, that was Mooney, the ex-football star. So showing some life. Here's Mooney again. And he is driven back by Asante, a big hit. Some substitutions being made by Claremont as they have a 35-zip lead, and they have to play some more important matches this weekend. There's number 17 getting into the action. That's Jalen Kinney.
That's probably the right call from their coaches. They feel the game is now well in hand. It's 35-0, 25 minutes to go. Take some key players off, keep them fresh for the big one on Sunday.
Here's Mooney driving forward. Nobody told him that this was out of hand. Along with Salverda. There he is fighting for the possession, presents it. Here's Riley. Here's Kokesh, the nursing student. And here's Odin. Again, we spoke of him earlier, and he is going to get under the posts, and he's in for the try. A great individual effort by number 7, Dominic Odin.
And that's well deserved for him. He's had a good game. He's kept plugging away. He's, strangely elusive runner. And he slipped a few tackles there to get St. John's on the scoreboard. Congratulations to him.
And he is but a sophomore, and his younger brother, Cam, is a freshman, and he is on the bench and ready to come in. So that's impressive. You got 2 brothers, freshman and sophomore, and here's the sophomore showing his skill and savvy by getting right under the post after a great individual effort. There it is again, different angle. You know, that's in a sea of blue jerseys that he's doing that. And Justin Blankson Phipps is also in, number 22 for Claremont. So Jack Sears trying to get him back in there. And Jack Sears all over the pitch, the number 8 for Claremont. So it's 35-7. If you're just joining us, Matt McCarthy, Steve Lewis, and Brett Anker in this next level rugby production of the National Small College Rugby Organization NSCRO Championships here at Siena College outside Albany at Hickey Field as the ball bounces into touch, and it will be a line out awarded to St. John's in red and blue stripes and white shorts. In the navy and white tops are Claremont, and they are in command, 35-7. Referee explaining to some of the newer faces in the lineup how things are going to go.
And you know what? We haven't talked about the referee in 15 minutes, so he's having a good game.
Absolutely. There's the throw in by Paul Franta. And it is a penalty awarded to St. John's. And look who's kicking, Steve. It's the co-captain, Salverda, booting it into touch. Not the distance he wanted. Here's a replay of that penalty. As Franta with the throw in. It's a great shot of Odin, who just scored that try to get his team on the board. Get off the schneid, if you will. And it's going to be a scrum awarded, unfortunately, if you're a St. John's fan, to Claremont. Franta not happy with himself with the throw in.
Set piece, bread and butter.
Indeed. As Spencer Swensrud, the number 9, who's had a nice match for Claremont, gets set to put the ball in. Reaches in, grabs it. There's a nice switch. On attack, Andrew Segura presents the ball.
Good go forward ball. It just needs to be zipped faster. Good pickup, though. Good pickup.
That's Connor Lanner. He's had a good match. And dotting it in for the try, number 9, the scrum half, Spencer Swensrud. Crosses the whitewash. So they're all getting into the try zone, Steve. Spreading the wealth.
Getting in the action. You know, it's a fairly straightforward back play here from a set piece. Inside center, number 12 coming up the middle. Bumped one, got a bit of go forward ball. Defense is at sea. Good pick up again, up the gut. One more time, defense at sea. And there's a gap for the scrum half.
And he earned that try too. He barreled over. It looked like.
Yeah, but exactly. Bit of determination, went through a couple of tacklers.
And it is 42-7 in favor of Claremont. Out of California against St. John's out of Minnesota. And they will be kicking the restart. It's been an adventure. There's Kazmerchek, the ex-hockey player. Not much success. I could tell you what, if you wanted to, if you were looking for a job, you'd want to be a kicker for St. John's at this point. Because they've you can see that they've got a good squad, but this has been a problem for them.
Yeah, certainly kicking game has let them down a little bit. Not a little bit, a fair bit actually. Inability to make touch. You know, a restart like that, you can flub one or two, but they've had a difficult night kicking, shall we say? And now it's scrum to Claremont on a halfway line. 20 minutes to go. 42-7 Claremont. Things well in hand for the Californians.
More instruction from our referee. As Swensrud, who just scored that try, gets prepared to put it in. He's got some options with his backs split. Go short side. With Chance Sears, the number 8, who's had a big match, but a big push and a wheel. And there's Mooney. Into Riley's hands. Here's Kokesh. He dives forward. And it's stolen. Oh, I was going to say, it looked like it was a penalty against Claremont. And there's Odin, the sophomore, who just keeps on ticking for St. John's. Salverda, the latest kicker for touch for St. John's. picked up and rambled forward. That looked like number 6, Max Ditzer. There's the number 8, Mooney, the football player, charging forward. With a little bit of energy, here comes Paul Franta, the hooker. And he is repelled by Chance Sears and Co. Salverda. He can smell the try line. And again, some energy coming from St. John's. They want another try. They came a long way for this, as did their counterparts from California. Oh, a nice defensive play there by number 15, Matthew Grundling.
Nice St. John's penalty. They really may as well go fast here. Have a crack. Big fella's after it. Not quite.
Salverda charging forward on the quick tap. There's Mooney. Being driven back by a sea of blue jerseys. But sneaking in. Oh, a nice sneaky try by St. John's. And we're going to see, there might be a conference. It is not a try.
Yeah, it looked like a good score to me. Referees obviously had second thoughts. Here's another look, perhaps.
He's digging it out. It looks like a...
No. Short of that yellow line.
Yeah.
Short of the yellow line. I think the attacking player had it over the white line, thinking that was pay dirt, but it wasn't.
That's the curse of these multi-sport fields.
Indeed.
You know, I think he definitely thought it was the white line.
No question.
All right, so it's a scrum down. To St. John's. Here's Riley. Picks it up. Thought about taking it in himself. Gets it out to Nathan Cobb. Here's Eric Clark Jr. Barreling forward is Odin, looking for his second try, looking for the brace. Ball squirts out, and it's going to be...
Looks like offside. The referee is called there. Another quick penalty. Go for it. There you go. There you go. There you go.
There's Salverda, and he is in for the try.
Good
Kyle
enough.
Salverda, the co-captain.
He's not going to take. He's going to take a fair bit of stopping from 5 yards out. Couple of mismatches there.
That was Max Sickinger trying to stop the big fella. When you got a wing going against a big bursting prop, that's not going to happen. And Salverda kicks it. Let's see who kicks the conversion. Initially, I thought it was going to be Logan Spitzer. Let's see who it is. Yeah, it is going to be. No, I'm sorry. It's going to be Noah Hines Marquette. Attempting the conversion, the lock. And
Niet, as they say in Moscow.
Yep, he didn't make it, but it wasn't that bad of an effort. But again, you know, if you're going to win one of these kinds of championships, you're going to need a good kicking game. And I'm not taking away from Noah's attempt there. That's not an easy kick. It was a tough angle to begin with. Here's Claremont with the restart. Up 42-12. St. John's showing life. There's Odin, who's been leading the charge all night long, and he is dragged into touch. Odin's had a very good match.
Indeed he has.
For St. John's on the short end here. But you've had
I think he could use a few more chicken suppers and put some beef on. But he's certainly been effective for a relative lightweight, physically.
It's just a sophomore in college. Put that in perspective.
What did he say about that? Isn't there supposed to be some of you talk about a freshman Freshman
15?
15 or something.
Yeah. Well, not when you're playing rugby. Here you go. St. John's on attack, trying to get some more points. That was Keegan Odell, number 21, who's got his hands on the ball. Here's number 20, David Floater. So some of these reserves coming in and making an impact. You like to see that. Ball squirts away, turned over into the hands of Claremont. And a whistle and a penalty earned by Claremont.
Yeah, if you're flooding through the ruck like that, you've got to stay on your feet. You've got to support your own weight. And St. John's guys just funneling through there, throwing bodies at it. Referee Burpos picked them up. Penalty to Claremont.
Kicked into touch. There's the flag from our assistant referee. Some conversations between co-captain Salverda, Kyle Salverda, and the referee. There's a line out taken by Claremont on the burst, looking for more. Nice run. There's a pass to Paul Franta. I beg your pardon. That was Michael Porter. Michael Porter on the burst. Here comes Chance Sears. Big night for him tonight, Steve.
Yep, direct runner. Physical, like it.
Solid on defense as well. There's number 4, Sam Ness. Here's number 17, Jalen Kinney, getting into the act. Nice solid run by number 12, Andrew Segre. Still battling. But it's St. John's on defense. They're not caving in. They keep fighting, but it's a penalty to Claremont, Steve. Going back to the initial infraction, it looks like. See what the referee says on this one. Roll the eyes on the part of some of the Claremont players. They expect more than just a penalty. Maybe they were looking for a card.
Hard to say. Looked like it was called in by the assistant referee. He might have been offside. Claremont elected to go fast, move the ball to the right.
Sam Ness now followed by Zach Heffernan.
You just need to be patient here.
Oh.
And there it is.
And there it is. The patience pays off. And you know, you just see the one man trying in defense. That's Odin again. He's on both sides of the ball. Needs more people with that kind of motor running with him. But hats off to Claremont. They have been clinical when they get to near the try line. And there it is, dotted down. Here it is, another angle. Oh, just sneaking in there. Nice try by Connor Lanner. Cleaning that one up. But some good work done by Brian Wall there, that number 1. He's had a big night. And again, you know, when you're scoring this many points, this amount of points, a lot of people have had good matches, but we're going to have to start thinking about our man of the match. And I think for St. John's, we can already probably say that it's the number 7, Dominic Odin. And the conversion was good. So we're at 49-12. Claremont out of California on top of St. John's out of Minnesota in this Enscrow match, kicking off our championship weekend here in Siena at Hickey Field.
Yes, I would have to agree with your estimation there, Matt. Certainly for me, Odin at number 7 for St. John's has certainly been their player of the night. He's had a good one. For Claremont, back row's been strong. You know, some good touches from Sill in the center. Also Grundling early on at fullback. Hasn't gotten a lot of ball in the second half. I would probably at this stage be looking at number 8, Chance Sears, just for an all-round body of work.
All right, so you saw the restart taken by Claremont but lost into the hands of St. John's, and a penalty awarded to St. John's. And they're going for the corner, but this is no easy task. But Salverda does it. Here's the replay. And you can see there's just a lot of bodies being flung around, and there's the penalty. As we get ready for the line out. Here's Franta.
Full line out, rare event these days.
I bet it's going to Odin. Well, it was intended for Odin, and they are lucky to have it. Sometimes you can just tell in the eyes.
The eyes have it.
Exactly.
The eyes have it.
All right, so St. John's looking to get another try. Here's Odin. Keeps working. Riley. Kokesh. Oh, he's got his man. Flat-footed, though, was was number 12, Nathan Cobb. And there's a kick after the turnover. Nobody home. Scrambling back under it. There's the co-captain, Kazmirchek, the hockey player, turned rugby player, mentored by Garrett Bender of USA 7's fame after watching him in the Rio Olympics. That's how he got interested in rugby. There's Salverda, co-captain with Kazmirchek. Odin takes it to the turf. And there's a nice big run by Cobb in the open. He's got a big hit by number 10. That's Jeremy Seau, who scored a big try earlier and then just threw his body into a charging Cobb. That was a big collision, Steve.
You sure he's got number 10 in his back? Fly halves are not supposed to tackle like that.
Exactly.
That was very impressive. He came from distance. He was very determined. Tremendous impact. Let's have a look at it here. A little bit high, but good effort nevertheless. And actually, great effort from a fly half. He'll be fired from the Union.
There's the run again.
After making that kind of tackle.
Different angle. Oh, a nice stick. And not illegally high.
Nope. Agreed.
So, that's a hard rugby player right there at number 10. Good for him. Nice play. That was some great coverage on the angles from our next level production team, Steve.
Yes, indeed.
Here's Riley. Yep. They're going to do it again. Maybe losing his patience a little bit, the referee.
Yeah, winding down now. 6-7 minutes to go. Claremont 2 reserve props in.
I think it's important to point out, I'm just looking through this roster of St. John's. There's a lot of sophomores, a lot of freshmen, sprinkled in some juniors. There's only a handful of seniors. This is a young squad, and this is a great experience for them. And these players, this is the line. This is the big time for them. This is an event that you can watch live on the internet, either on the NSCRO YouTube channel or Next Level Rugby YouTube channel. So it's kind of a big deal. Wherever you are in the world, you can be seen playing rugby in this thing. And there's number 10, Wyatt Kokesh, taking it to turf. So the big hits keep coming from this Claremont defense. And there's another whistle, and it's a knock-on earned by the hit from Claremont. There's a big smile on the face of number 1, Brian Wall. He likes his backs laying it out. They're not afraid of contact. There's a shot of Keegan Odell, number 21.
Yeah, as you say, young squad, so they've been to the dance, they know what it's all about. Semi-final national championship, No cliche, you got to get it wrong to get it right.
Got some more changes in that front row now for Claremont.
The weather deteriorating somewhat again. Rain started to come down. But as you've said a couple of times, we've been very lucky with the weather gods.
We've got Jaden Ha, number 18 in. Looks like we've got Jahan Vaswani, number 19. Getting some playing time. Also looks like you've got Lucas Hackett Provenzano in for Claremont. Cam Oden is also in for St. John's. He's the younger brother of our man of the match for St. John's, I would say, Dominic Oden.
Agreed.
So let's see what Cam Oden can do, number 22. Playing at number 8. Or actually, he's playing on the flank. Here's a nice ball out to Andrew Segre.
Good strong exit play that. I like that. Straight to the center. Right up the guts. Now they move it back.
And there's Grundling. Here's Eric Clark Jr. Let's see if he can counterattack. A little hesitant. Engulfed by Max Sickinger, who's had a good match himself. He's right in the thick of it. Not the biggest guy on the planet, number 11, but he's had a tough match. I mean, a good match. Tough player. There's the kind of the no-look pass and held onto by Sam Hendricks for St. John's. Riley. Big burst forward from St. John's. There's that man, Oden again. The older one by a year, sophomore Dominic. He does not quit. Here's his brother, the first one to the breakdown. And a kick by Riley. Testing the defense of Claremont, but right back there. We've seen him do it all night long as Grundling. He's got some support.
I would have just walked that one into touch, I think.
About 4 minutes left in the match, and look who's covering the kick. And just a bit high on the pass from Salverda, the tight head prop, but here's a counterattack from Kazmierczak. Still full of fight, as you'd expect from a former hockey player out of Minnesota. Driving forward. St. John's. There's a little bit of a slower fake.
That least convincing dummy of the year, that one.
Hey, he's got to be exhausted for the amount of work that he's put in tonight.
Indeed. We can allow him one fault.
Absolutely. And there's number 21, Keegan Odell, being swallowed up by number 5, Zach Heffernan. Here's Franta fighting forward. Number 10, Kokesh. Salverda now playing out in the back line. And there's number 11, Sickinger. Sickinger fends and takes it in, but did he get it? It looks like the ball might have come loose. I don't think it's going to be a try, Steve.
I would agree with you.
And I think the reaction from Sickinger will say that he did not score that try as the rain comes down.
Yeah, he knows he didn't ground it. Very frustrating when you do the hard work and fail to finish. Here's another look.
Nice fend. He kind of just rumbles right over the defender. There's a chase by Cam Oden, but he can't get him.
Nope. Here's a better angle here. Just gets knocked out of that left hand. He's carrying it in one hand. He really needs to secure the ball as he dives in. When you're 2, 3, 4 yards out, there's no reason not to score.
But it looks like Cam Oden got a piece of that ball, knocking it loose. But you're right. You gotta dot that one down. You gotta smell that try line. Close the deal. Again, easy from up here, right? in the cold rain.
As a lethal winger yourself over the years?
I was only played wing in protest. All right, there's a great shot. And another whistle. Free kick to St. John's. And it's going to be who's kicking who. It's going to be the big fella. And a quick tap to himself. That's the most assured kick you can have right now at this point, right? There's Odin.
I mean, they're going sideways here, just shuffling bad ball.
Oh, Eric Clark Jr., the recipient of that tough pass, he did well to maintain possession there with the one hand, with the defense immediately on him. There's Odin taken to turf by number 18, Jaden Ha. Here's a kick. Number 18, Jaden Ha, in the match. He's looking for the try line. You know, you got to like that. Everybody's got a little fire in their belly trying to make something happen, even this late in the game, even by this score. It's a penalty awarded to Claremont. Interesting to see what they're going to do. Who's taking the ball here, Steve?
Well, they're discussing their options. Game can't end in a penalty, of course.
And that is going to do it.
There you go.
All right. Wow. Decisive victory for Claremont. 49-12 over St. John's out of Minnesota on our first night of the NSCRO Championships here at Siena College. Steve, man of the match for Claremont, I think we agree, Chance Sears.
We do indeed.
Although, you know, he had some stiff competition from many of his teammates. You know, Lanner, number 6, had a great match. You gotta say that Spencer Swensrud, the number 9 quarterback, a great game. There were great matches all throughout. The number 15, we can go on and on. For the St. John's on a losing side, definitely Dominic Odin had a great match, just a sophomore. So impressive performances as we get ready for an early Saturday morning start here at Hickey Field as the teams congratulate each other. I know that we're going to be throwing down to Brett Anker, who is getting players from both sides in to talk. But what was the most impressive thing about Claremont's victory for you, Steve?
I think, well, actually coming out the second half, you know, it's we said before 14-0 at the half, and the decisive moment was pretty much from the kickoff, first possession. The fly half put in a 50-yarder, that just extended that lead, and they just kept plugging along, chugging along, taking the chances. Whenever they got St. John's territory, they extracted something from it. 49-12 is a reasonable reflection of the game, and they're the ones moving forward now to the national championship final.
It'll be interesting to see that matchup.
Yep.
All right, Steve, we got word that Brett Anker is ready down on the pitch, and it looks like he is with Mr. Odin, but we'll see.
Colleges. Matt, so talk me through the game. How did you guys feel that it went?
We started strong with the one try and then kind of just like fell down a little bit, making too many errors on the attack, just turnover ball and giving away penalties, which kind of slowed us down, but sorted it out at halftime with the coaches and everyone and just went back to our regular pattern and managed to play a lot better in the second half like what we used to.
Okay. So you've been to 4 consecutive Final Fours here at Claremont College. How do the past experiences have prepared you for games like tonight?
Especially for the leadership group, it like helps us give advice to the new players. Especially this year, we have a lot of new guys. Especially we lost, I think, like 14 seniors last year. So coming in with a pretty fresh team, it's good to be back here and good to give them like a taste of championship rugby.
So I have to bring up, you guys had a little bit of a rough go against Iowa Central last year.
Yeah,
in the championship.
it was not pretty.
You were runner-up. Is that in the back of your mind at all? Is a little bit fire for you guys to get out here and win a national championship?
For sure, yeah. Especially for the guys that have come here 4 years in a row, only managed to win one. Just sending them off with another championship would be huge. Yeah. So it's definitely firing us up. thinking about last year where we got destroyed by Iowa, but hopefully this year will be different and we'll come out on top.
That's great. Thanks, Matt.
Cheers.
Back to you, Matt.
Oh, sweet. No worries.
Steve, that was a South African accent, wasn't it?
No question.
So I believe that was. I think we're getting a little feedback, but that was a South African accent, if I know my accents. But in the meantime, you see the teams gathered at midfield.
More Cape Town than California?
Yeah. All right, we're throwing back down to Mr. Brett Anker.
Thanks, Matt. I'm with Dominic Oden here. You had a couple of electric plays in this game. I know it wasn't really the result you were looking for, but how do you feel your team performed today?
I feel like we came out and we played our game. We played how we wanted to play. We were really excited to be here. We haven't been here in a while, and it was good for our team. We've played a real hard season. We were just glad to be able to compete.
Yeah, you haven't been here since 2014, 2015.
Correct.
What does it mean for your program to get back to the national level?
We are a club sport, so it means a lot of us for our team and for our school to be able to come to the national level and compete. We like to be on par with all the other sports at our school.
Yeah, and I have to say that you had a very large alumni crowd here coming all the way from Minnesota. Is there anything you'd like to say to the alumni? And I understand you guys, they were very generous in helping you get here. Is there anything you'd like to say to the alumni that are here and watching on TV?
Yes, our alumni are extremely generous. We'd just like to say thank you for your support over the years, and thank you for your continued support.
That's great. Thanks for everything.
Thank you.
Matt, back to you.
All right, well done, Brett. That's good to see that man, Mr. Oden, is as exceptional off the pitch as he is on the pitch, Stephen.
Yes, indeed. Appreciative of all the people that actually make these things work. It's fans, it's parents, it's coaches, it's alumni, it's school administrators sometimes, not just the players.
That's right. All right, guys, we are just about out of time, but tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m., we continue. We've got Washington and Lee University, the Cardinals Conference versus Minnesota State University Moorhead. So make sure you check in as early as 8 a.m. with us on the NSCRO YouTube channel or the Next Level Rugby YouTube channel. It's been a pleasure for me, Matt McCarthy. I'm here with Steve Lewis and Mr. Brett Anker. It's just been a great kickoff night of this tournament, Steve.
Couple of good games. Can't wait for tomorrow.
And I believe that we are out, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you tomorrow morning here at Siena College, Hickey Field, for the NSCRO Championships.
Hey everybody, it is 2019, and in 2018, Next Level Rugby was all over the country and the world, bringing you coverage of our sport up close and personal. It all started in Denver, then headed out to Vegas, and then next thing you know, we're in New York City, Japan, Austin, Texas, and a bunch of other places all across the country. But we would really like to thank the players, our fans, and most importantly, our partners that are helping to drive the growth of American rugby here in the United States and beyond. So let's just take a look at some of the shots that, we really loved and fell in love with, and, what made 2018 a special year is going to make 2019 even better. We're looking forward to what 2019 brings, and stay tuned. And remember, every day is a rugby day.